is a lot of times people kind of get overwhelmed, right? Oh, I got to do something new, uncomfortable. How do I kind of figure this out without getting overwhelmed?
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes the default is just, well, I'll do it later. So we procrastinate or we just decide not to do it at all because it's too much, right?
Yeah.
So, but by taking some steps and going one step at a time and going forward with it, the overwhelm gets not so overwhelming.
Yeah, and I sent out an email on the weekend, and it was kind of about your comfort zone. So this was for again about our blueprint course. So inviting people to come and join us for our blueprint course. And one of the things that we were talking about is your comfort zone and how a lot of times, the first time you do something, that comfort zone can be something that keeps you from doing it, right? And we kind of likened it to the football guys. So here they are all on the biggest stage in their career, and they still look pretty comfortable. And, even though,
focused.
or you see, actors or people that are in movies and things like that. And, as you do it, you get more comfortable. And when you watch that, you think, how can they possibly be comfortable in that? Or The Weeknd did the halftime show, right?
Yeah.
And how do you get comfortable with that? Well, you don't just jump into that. They don't just throw you into the Super Bowl, right? You start getting comfortable as a kid and then moving up into high school and then into college, university as you move up, right?
But still, the Super Bowl is a big deal.
Sure
and
it is.
for somebody like The Weeknd, like performing on stage, or for any performer performing on stage, the first time has got to be pretty overwhelming, right? And even though you try to get to that stage, when you're actually there, you got to learn some techniques, right?
I think a big part of it is learning the process, right? When you learn a process and you learn a technique and then you do it, you practice it, you're going to keep getting better at it. And that's where you're going to get comfortable. And it's the same with anything. We're going to talk about some examples. If you're new to marketing your real estate business or whatever your business is, but especially I know we have a lot of real estate folks that join us for these sessions. What are the things that you need to do to kind of get good at that, right? And sometimes it can be overwhelming. You're going, oh, there's social media, there's all this stuff, there's Facebook, Instagram. Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on Pinterest? Should I be on Snapchat? All these different things. And the danger of it is it can get overwhelming really quickly. And then you just say, forget it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm just going to ignore it because I'm overwhelmed. And a lot of times our instinct or our natural sort of desire is to say, forget it. I don't want to try to wrap my head around this.
Resist.
Yeah. But what we always try to do is, can you break those steps down? Can you break it down into steps and eliminate anything that you don't need, right? That's a lot of times the problem is, you're filling your head with all these different things. And social media might say, well, forget about TikTok, forget about Snapchat, figure out where your people are and start there and get really good at that and then go from there.
Yeah, exactly. That's such good advice.
If you're a real estate agent, a financial planner, wherever your career is, you had to start with a lot of things, right? So when you first became a real estate agent, like you had to learn how do I do a listing, right? If I have a property, how do I list it? Like, what are the steps I've got to take to do that?
Right. Yeah. And the same with hosting your first open house. Like, what are you going to do, right? Like, what do you have to have in place? You have to let people know that it's happening. You got to put the open house sign on top of the sign outside. You got to have your pamphlets or whatever material that you're handing out ready to go.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that
Bake
the house
some
is staged good. Yeah,
some
bake some
candles.
cookies so it smells good. So, yeah, there's a few things, to know about anything, right? Even deciding to become a real estate professional and going through, the course and the test and like all of that. You have to know so much stuff. Writing up your first listing, right? How to close.
How you close a sale. Yeah. What are the steps that you have to do? One of the things that we noticed, there's kind of this pattern. We were talking a little bit about this on the weekend. There's this pattern where usually a lot of these things, there's about 12 to 15 steps, 12 to 15 things that you need to know or you need to be able to do to execute that task. So, if you're thinking about an open house, right? There's probably 12 to 15 things that you need to know about that. How are you going to market it? How are you going to get it set up? How are you going to, obviously in this day and age, we're not doing open houses in most areas, but you get the idea here. It's typically about that 12 to 15 things that you need to know. Now, the problem with 12 to 15 things is before you start kind of breaking it down into steps, that can be overwhelming. That can seem like so much that you're going, oh, I'm never going to learn this. I'm never going to be able to figure this out.
Yeah. So stick with us, because when we talked about this on the weekend, Aaron was like, oh, with things, there's always like 12 to 15 steps, and I'm like, whoa, like that's a lot, man. Like,
We're gonna
if
scare
you're going to
people
throw
away.
that at somebody, and they're going to go, resist, right? Be protective of yourself and no, I don't want to do it. But some of those steps aren't like big, huge steps, right? Like getting started with something could be just as simple as, pulling out your phone and hitting record, right? That's step one.
And this is one of the real keys to this, is if you're learning those sort of 12 to 15 things from all different sources and in the wrong order, they're not going to make sense, right? What you really need is someone that can help guide you through those, and you hear kind of the same voice, so that they don't say, if you, for instance, we get a lot of times people will say, well, I'm trying to learn how to do this watching YouTube videos. And sometimes that can work really, really well, especially if it's kind of a smaller task. But if you're trying to learn how to grow your business with video marketing on social media, going onto YouTube is going to be very time consuming. And what you're going to end up with is step 2, and then step 8, and then step 1, and then step 12. And they're not going to be consistent, because the person teaching you step 8 is going to say, oh, no, I don't do it that way. I do it this way, right? And then it becomes a mess.
It's like that, asking a question to 10 different people, you'll get 10 different answers.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And if you're a real estate agent, a real estate professional, financial planner, whatever your business is, you probably had a way to learn that, right? You did the course, you had a teacher, you had a mentor, you had someone that kind of took you under their wing. Maybe you joined a team for that purpose, because now you have someone that's guiding you through those 12 to 15 things. And when you start thinking about it, you're probably going to go, yeah, there really is in that neighborhood of the 12 to 15 things that as soon as I knew how to do that, then I got really good at this. And then you start getting better. Okay, which of those things am I not as good at? So let's get better at that. But those are the things that we're going to need to kind of cover. So when you get overwhelmed, when you're looking at something new, when you're looking at it and going, we were sharing last week the stats about 82% of real estate professionals are planning on using social media to grow their businesses this year in 2021. So it's going to be competitive. It's going to be noisy. So how are you going to get over top of that? You might go, well, I know I can use video and that's going to work, because I hang out with Aaron and Angela and they're telling me that all the time. And I know that I can get that out on social media and it will work, but it just feels like there's so many things, right? Like there's all the things. You don't need all the things. You just need that kind of 12 to 15, and we know it sounds like a lot, but that's what's going to get you there.
Yeah, but if you can figure out what those 12 to 15 things are, right, and even writing them down, right, and then just taking one thing and implementing that, and then going on to the next thing and the next thing, right? And like we said, with video, and especially now with video with your phone, like that first step is just setting up your phone, right? So that's already, like once you do it, it's already done, so then you don't have to worry about it again. And then the next step is maybe having some tools, right, to help with your video. And then the next step is taking those shots, right? Like those sorts of things, being organized. There's little steps in there. So they're not, each 12 to 15 steps isn't overwhelming in and of itself. So it can then be just second nature, and you can eliminate some of those steps once you have taken them, right?
Yes, exactly. Hopefully that helps wherever you're at in this journey of whatever you're trying to accomplish. That's our advice, is break it down, break it into the steps, get a guide or a tutor or a coach or someone that can help you do that. For those of you that are kind of new with us, we do have a free tool that you can get right on smartphonevideoformula.com, and it's an easy to use download that's basically just going to give you kind of the first couple of steps, right? So that you can kind of start to see how to do this. It's a quick little workshop where we take you through kind of the easiest way to get started with marketing with video. There's a PDF on there as well. If you go there, you'll see it. Just sign up and you're going to get access to that for free. And that'll kind of give you those first couple of steps that will help you get started and get past that overwhelm.
And it's true with anything. Just take a breath, kind of break it down, start at the beginning, and then just work through each of those steps.